Today is Tuesday, November 25th, 2025. I'm Tom Phillips, and this is the Connecticut General Assembly meeting, your land and soil government in the nation state of Connecticut. Would anyone like to offer a prayer to help us start the meeting? Okay, hearing none, I'll go ahead and do the standard serenity prayer. We ask our Creator to grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can change, and the wisdom to know the difference. Looks like we have Dave Matson's joined us. Good evening, Dave.
Yeah, hi, how you doing?
Good. So welcome to the Connecticut General Assembly meeting. We are standing on our land and soil jurisdiction nation called Connecticut. We are here to restore our birthright government, a Republican form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. A government whose primary duty is protecting your individual unalienable rights, freedoms, and property. You and I are stepping forward to voluntarily serve our fellow Connecticuters in pursuit of this ongoing challenge. We are assembled here to focus our time and effort by studying, sharing, organizing this organic body into a coherent working group with committees, affirming for the greater good of all the people of Connecticut's 8 counties. Thank you for stepping forward as a volunteer reclaimer and restorer. And so we're going to begin with the Bivens decision here. And seeing as our Marshal at Arms is not with us, I'll go ahead and start that. This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency, public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the first time? This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the decision for the second time? This meeting is private. Bearing false witness, misrepresentation, and posting inflammatory rhetoric in public forums is forbidden and shall be addressed in an appropriate manner. To eliminate all conflict and false allegations, is there anyone in attendance at today's meeting who is a member or agent of any law enforcement agency or public agency of the federal, state, county, city, or township agencies present? Is there a response to the Bivens decision for the third time? So anyone who is here under false pretenses, anyone who is working for any foreign government, including the territory of the United States or the municipal United States, anyone who is being paid or coerced to be here must fully disclose their presence and purpose now or leave the premises. If they subsequently show up as federal witnesses, they are discredited for failure to disclose. So now we'll move on to our county roll call. So as you hear the county you're on, please say here. So we'll start with Fairfield County.
Here.
Here.
And then we'll follow with Litchfield County. Hearing none, we'll move to Hartford County. Hearing none, we'll move to Middlesex County.
Here.
That's good. And followed by New London County.
Here.
Excellent. And New Haven County. Here.
Here.
Yep, we got Kevin, that's right. And Holland County. Hearing none, our final county is Windham County. All right, so that concludes our basic opening stuff for our General Assembly meeting. I apologize for not sending out an agenda. Just been, well, anyone who reads Anna's articles will know that the last 2 weeks has just been, between the articles and the podcasts and the Monday webinars, has just been jam-packed with earth-shaking stuff. So I'll just review that stuff a little bit, and maybe we can have a general discussion about those things. If that seems like a good idea for everyone else. Everyone like that idea?
Yeah, great idea.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So probably the most big reveal came from Anna, and it's that we should be celebrating from here in perpetuity November 17th as the day that the original American government regained control of the country. Exactly what the full ramifications of that are, I think it's going to take us a while to figure all those things out. But certainly from someone in Anna's perspective, that is having direct access to so much knowledge and so many people in different countries, as well as generals in our country and all manner of other people. She wouldn't come out and say something like that lightly.
He seems to
anyway,
have some newfound confidence.
Yeah, definitely a newfound confidence. No question about that. What do you think, David? What do you think some of the ramifications of this?
More work.
Well, you're certainly right about that. In fact, I think she said it. It may have been last night's podcast, or webinar, I should say. One of the questions she answered by saying it's going to be a lot more work for all the Federation people. Any other comments? Eugene, Linda, Kevin?
I would say, do we know how many people are on the Federation?
I think she's been pretty guarded about that.
Yeah, we don't know, right?
I'm under the impression it's at least 2,000 other people, but I don't really know. I don't have any way of proving that.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, no,
so
you're
saying,
because I don't think I ever knew. I mean, we only hear the few people that, would be mentioned from time to time, but, there have to be more than just her, Harold, and, like the few people we know of, right?
Right. Well, I believe she went over it just a little bit, although rather sketchily. She was saying that amongst the Federation people, that she was relatively younger. And I think she's right around 70. I think she was born in 56.
Yeah, I think she's like 69. Yeah, 69 or 70, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. And she was saying that most of them are older.
Right, right.
And she was saying that, probably the youngest in the Federation would be around 45. And then, of course, Shannon spoke up. What about me?
Who is Shannon? Is that her son?
No, I don't think so.
It's not? Oh. No, she told the story one time of Shannon. Now I can't remember 100%, but he came to her for something, or he started.
Yeah, she was.
Go ahead.
He didn't believe what she said about something. I don't remember the exact topic.
Right.
Said, no, that can't be true. And then he researched it and found out it was true. Mm-hmm. And then he was kind of hooked.
She did say that her son, forget the name, is going to be the new head of state, though. But haven't heard anything about that since that time. And furthermore, I mean, this is my own ignorance, but what does the head of state do other than be sort of a figurehead?
Well, Jim did have his name on a number of proclamations.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he was the summoning authority for calling the states into session. Right. It can only be done. Assemblies can only be called into session by 1/3 of the states, a real president, not a de facto president, or the head of state.
So, and being a head of state, he has that position because it's a hereditary.
Yeah.
He has a lineage.
Yeah.
Back to
the Norman conquest, right?
Right. He's in the direct lineage of the Belchers or Belcher.
Yeah. Were they the Norman? I thought, or they were the Scottish.
Norman. So we're talking about the French people who, at the time of the Norman conquest, came over and conquered England. And the reason why they have sovereignty in their own right is what happened at the end of that Norman conquest. And it was the king who, having conquered England, didn't want them to be able to come back again. And so he granted all the various lords and landowners who'd helped him do the conquering little portions of England. So it was all chopped up. And by doing that, it made it impossible for any future king of England to actually own any land. And that's why the king who came after him was John Lacklands, lacking land.
And wait, let me say, didn't he didn't even give anything to his own sons? Isn't that correct?
Exactly.
Yeah. He didn't want any more monarchy or something to that effect. He did.
But the Belchers? What is their role in all of that?
Well,
they were one of the.
I'm probably not going to remember his name, but one of the Belchers, from whom Jim and his son descended, was at the left hand of Washington during the Revolution.
You blipped out there at the what of Washington?
Yeah, your mic is going a little like off and on a little bit.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Anyway, it was just trying to think. It might have been William Belcher who was the one who was at the right hand of George Washington. And so when the Declaration of Independence was first done, as a sovereign, he was able to grant the right of sovereignty to all Americans, anyone born on the land. So that's how we all became sovereigns. Anyway, it's the Spark Notes version. I'm probably not giving it all
but then
historic
Anna
detail.
has a hereditary link too.
Huh?
Do you all know that there's a town in Massachusetts, Belshire Town?
No.
Yeah. We all
I
refer to it as, everyone I know calls it Belcher Town with kind of a chuckle because it looks like a funny spelling, but that's actually the town of the Belshires.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah, Massachusetts.
Road trip.
Road trip, yeah.
Well, Anna has told the story of the Belchers being a very big family. I think at Jim's level there might have been 100 different cousins. I mean, a very big family. I forget now. But she explained this all probably in a webinar some 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe it was an article.
So back to my original question then, her son, she has several sons, so I think.
Right.
One of them is the new head of state, and I'm not quite sure what that role means. And then also Anna has some sort of hereditary link too.
To Saint Germain.
Right.
Mm-hmm. She's a direct, what do you call it? Yeah, she's a descendant of Saint Germain. So that should give her the some, how do you say so over that trust.
Right.
And she always says there may be others, but not that none of them have come forward. To her knowledge, it was her and her sister were the only ones that she knew of. And of course her sister passed, so it's just her.
Oh.
But you saw what they did to that trust. Instead of they took it from a common law trust and turned it into what kind of trust was that? They changed it to a different type of trust, and they've been commandeering it and the same old,
Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder what happened at the World Court that prompted them to agree with Anna rather than, I mean, we're not done with them yet, but, rather than, do up to their same old tricks. I wonder what, since they don't follow their own rules, how do they?
Their tricks. We're under.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Dave.
We're under a tyranny of deceit, and it's the iron fist inside the silk glove. So all the pretense of there being civilized behavior is really just a cover for the actual hierarchy that's trying to keep its command over our precious lives and the lives of all we love and hold dear. So it really boils down to all of us at each individual level with family, friends, and community to educate, teach, and pontificate, not from the Pope's point of view, but from Anna's point of view, to share it with the world around us.
But still, I'm wondering, since they don't follow their own rules, I mean, why would they acknowledge Anna now?
Well, another way to... Sorry, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I think that her evidence is compelling. She has not messed around. This is not just Anna. It's just Anna, but I mean, she brings the receipts and she knows how to talk to these people.
Which is
another way to understand this is, yes, it's the World Court, but the World Court doesn't actually have any, marshals that are going to go out and arrest people.
Right.
So, in a certain sense, you could say that the World Court is kind of, that they can make these judgments in somewhat relative safety of reprisal because there's no one out there to enforce it.
But she also said that the army is back in the power of the American people, that they are commissioned, paid by someone other than SWIFT, if I'm remembering.
Serco is the Government Services Corporation in Britain that was the former paymaster of our military. I don't think all our military are being paid by our Global Family Bank just yet, but I know a significant portion are.
Oh, really? So that happened now?
Pretty sure that's the case, yes. Again, we have multiple formats now we can ask Anna in. So we need to be asking all these tough questions.
Right.
But
I like what happened to the Monday night. I miss Terry, don't get me wrong, but I think that the Q&A part is very helpful for people.
Absolutely.
And it seems like it ends up not being quite as long as they used to be. It's a little bit more succinct, to the point. So, I'm actually enjoying them. I don't stay up, but I didn't actually get to watch it today either. I was very, very busy because we're leaving tomorrow for a trip. But I will maybe I can listen to it even on the way to the airport or something, but, But, yeah, I'm enjoying them, actually. And Shannon is great. He just, fires away the questions.
Right. No nonsense.
Yeah, you have to join in right at 9 because they get right into it. There's if you might miss an important point if you're not there when they first start talking.
Right. I think the second meeting they started before 9.
The second what?
The second webinar that Shannon did, they started before 9.
Really?
Yep.
Well, I guess I'm going to get from the beginning because I'm watching it listening on a recording.
Right. You'll get the whole thing. Yeah.
Right.
And so just to finish up what you were saying, Rebecca, all the things above, right? Presenting rock-solid evidence, presenting it to a court that doesn't really have a whole lot of teeth, but...
You would think that would not be the case.
Well, I think that's all changing. Because as more and more people wake up and realize, hey, this is actually really what happened, and so many other countries, virtually the entire Western world, have had a very similar fraud committed against them, right? Yeah. Now people are starting to get pissed off, and things are starting to move. Things are starting to happen, right? So this idea that we could just be kind of ignored, we'll will go away, you know. Well, it's just a little flea on her back. We'll just scratch it and ignore it. You know. Please go ahead, Dave.
There's a rule which is once you know how to do something, or once you know how something is made, or once you know how something was done, it's obvious what was done. And what's happening is it's becoming quite obvious what has been done to the state of mind of mankind. And as that happens, more and more lights go on and lights blink in the minds of people where they awake to the truth. And once the truth establishes a foothold, it gains strength and power. I yield.
Right. It's the awakening in consciousness and that ripple effect through the field of consciousness is what brings it to reality. So amongst the other things that, I just jotted down a few things. If I were more careful, I probably could have had a couple of pages of stuff. She just recently mentioned that allodial titles have been returned to us, and so that we're on the verge of getting our land back.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty huge. I think it's related to the collapse of one of the trusts. Don't quote me, but I think he was talking about the infant state collapsing, being part of that whole mechanism. And she talked about courts closing up. A lot of these admiralty courts are closing up and standing down. And she talked about a whole process in which anyone who'd been foreclosed on in the last, I think she said 10 years, was going to get their houses returned, foreclosures returned, with apologies from the court. Don't know how she's going to pull that off, but that's pretty huge.
There are going to be people living in those houses. How are they going to do that?
Right. Well, they're going to be paid off. It will probably be through, the trusts that, but your trusts are so huge, it won't really matter. I mean, if you're already owed, multiple trillions of dollars, and you have to pay someone off with $1.5 million, big deal,
You won't be getting literally your house back.
May I add some urgency to this?
Please, go ahead.
Imagine, if you will, a giant game of musical chairs, where the collapsing of trusts and the changing of the guard and the recognition that the trusts are fraudulent and bogus means that it is sweeping away or moving away incrementally, if not being swept away. And what's happening now is something else is coming in to sit on the seats, and it better be us. I yield.
Right.
We have a lot of work. That's right.
Yeah.
But at least we won't have to be tiptoeing around quite so much as before.
Well, I think what we're all waiting for, and certainly I'm speaking mainly for myself here, but we're all waiting for evidence of this change that's happening, feedback from our local communities, from the people we interact with. That's when we'll really be able to at least in my estimation, put the pedal to the metal. And that's kind of been our conundrum, is that, we see the injustice and we see the mechanisms behind it, but we're kind of in this limbo land of, can we actually enforce it? Do we have to, feel the pain like Kevin felt in order to try and enforce it?
I know.
Anyway, so a couple more things I jotted down. The urgent need to stand up our courts, of course, has always been there, but perhaps more than ever now. And she gave very explicit remonstration that we part of our job as assembly is to tell the de facto state of states what we've done and how we want it done. All right, and so that's a lot of work. We got to have some committees going and thinking about all this stuff, and then voting on it, or at least getting the General Assembly to weigh in on decisions. And then the last thing was the whole rebuilding of Philadelphia as our nation's capital.
Wow, that city's a mess.
Well, the city has an incredible history, and Anna has alluded to it before, but it was the meeting place of the Six Nations of the various tribes for many, many years prior to the colonialists arriving, and it has a long tradition of being a place where people meet and decisions are made. Does anyone think of any other things that you brought up that you'd like to discuss? I see, Kim, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
Yes, she mentioned, I think the number was 800,000 med beds were being, I don't know how she put it, released, rolled out, opened, something.
Yeah, she said that.
That must mean
Available.
the hospitals already know about this stuff.
Huh?
That must mean hospitals already know.
Some people in the hospitals, I think, already know about it. Yeah. Well, the Army certainly knows about it, or the military. Certain people.
She further said recently that that there are frequencies that naturally heal, and that the med beds would be used for people who have grave chronic illnesses. Or, of course, the veterans would have priority, but for the vast majority of people, it would be a much more simple process. But the main difficulty in rolling out the med beds is getting properly trained technicians to operate them.
I wonder where all these med beds are being manufactured. I mean, I have sort of an idea, but I just wonder what you think.
Not a clue.
Well, you want to know what I've heard?
Sure.
This is pretty wild.
The moon.
So I've been following like this off-planet stuff with Elena Danon. I mentioned her in the past. She's like a contactee. She has her life partner is a commander of a spaceship. Thorhan is his name. And she gets taken off planet. She her body gets dematerialized and rematerialized on ships and other planets and other galaxies, kind of thing. So it's not like she just hears things or hears a voice or something like that. So anyway, I think she's pretty credible, and there's a lot of really, really positive things that have been happening in the airspace around the Earth, since COVID started. Like Mars has been liberated, the Moon has been liberated, Saturn has been liberated. She says there's no more grays or reptilians in our galaxy. So these are pretty wild statements, right? Believe it or not. And so she's saying that the med beds are being manufactured on the Moon.
Yeah, I'd heard that. I used to listen to her. I haven't in a while, but yeah.
That is just sort of like an outrageous story. If you think the Earth stuff is outrageous, that's like over the top.
Yeah.
But I think she's credible. I do.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I did. I don't know what I think anymore, to be honest. I used to listen to her and Alice Collier, but not really anymore. So.
Yeah, Alice Collier's a big one too. They're good friends.
Yeah.
Does she have any books out, or is this all?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
she does.
the cedars. Yeah.
She's
In fact,
got.
it's right underneath my iPad. It uses it to prop it up.
I got 3 of her books, and I just devoured them over the summer. And I went to a conference in September.
Did you go to the Galactic thing?
Mhm.
GPIC?
Mhm.
Oh, in North Carolina?
Yeah, there were 800 people
A
there,
friend of mine went. Yeah.
and we had to have body and bag checks because she gets like death threats,
Yes.
and she's broken away from some of those people. She's going on a much more spiritual quest these days, but anyway, I got 3 of her books over the summer, and they are really good. I mean, they're easy to read. It's a lot of information, but it's not so techy that you're like, what is she talking about? It's really
And she's
easy
an artist.
to read.
She did the drawings.
Did she do the drawings? Oh, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
She has 2 books out now that goes into the galactic races. Some of all the different, I guess you would call them people on other worlds, and some of them are pretty different, very different looking. Some of them are a lot like us and sort of indistinguishable from humans. Well, they're all considered human because
humanoid, they call them.
Yeah, because they all have 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 noses, 2 arms, 2 legs, that kind of thing. So that makes them human. But they all have, like, some of them are pretty, almost scary looking. But it's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Elena Devon?
Danan, Danaan. Her books are on Amazon.
ALANA? Elena?
ELENA. Elena. She's French.
She's French, and she looks like about 5 or 6 years ago. She looked totally different.
You think?
And totally different. I mean, she was like she must have been in her early 50s maybe, and she looks totally different now. Totally. So I'm guessing she's had some med bed treatments. I don't know. She's had some spiritual experiences where she has been merged with the Creator, and maybe that like did something to her DNA or something. She looks totally different now. So she gets a lot of criticism, people saying she's a clone and she had cosmetic surgery or something, and I don't think so. I think it's real.
I used to watch a man on Gaia, Gaia TV, and there was a show about this man who these 2 men would interview each other, and he was in, like, for lack of a better memory of what exactly he was in, it was like, the highest level Navy SEALs type. But his assignment, along with other men and women, I guess, were off-planet missions, and he would be interviewed about all the things that he saw, and it's similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
With the other races and how some were. Now, I digress to say only this, that I think other ideas are truer about what the moon actually is and what space actually is. I don't think we realize what that is, really. Yeah. I follow a different line on that, but it's not to say that what you're saying isn't wrong. I just don't think that there are rocks in the sky called Saturn. I think the other lands are outward of the ice wall kind of a thing. I think those are
yeah,
other.
I was starting to wonder that myself, to be honest. We know there's a lot more land that we're.
So I think that place Saturn and the place called, Mars might not be what we're told. That's all.
Well,
I'm saying.
are you saying that you think the Earth is flat then?
Yes.
She says that's a psyop.
It might be,
It
but
might be.
I think that we don't know. And I don't think that what we're told as soon as we walk into kindergarten can possibly be what is the truth. Or they wouldn't push it so hard.
Right.
You know
There's no question we've been lied to extensively. Yeah. In this podcast,
so it's interesting.
In this podcast, I recently listened to with Sarah Westphal. She's interviewing this guy who's saying, well, evidence that shows that that it could be a flat Earth because you can shine a laser beam way farther than you should. But he's also a pilot, and he's seen that the Earth is round, and so from that evidence he concludes that we're living in a
simulation.
Simulation of some kind that allows both of those facts to be true. Anyway, Kevin, you have your hand up. Please go ahead.
I'm a flat earther too.
Yeah.
100%. And yes, we've been lied to. Holy God, we've been lied to. But I just thought I'd throw my 2 cents in there. It's in all the ancient texts. Every observation you've made in your life backs up flat Earth.
Mm-hmm. What the Bible says.
Yeah.
The
key is that we have been lied to and deceived so bad. That's the ultimate key. But yeah, I'm a flat earther, 100%. I yield.
Thank you. Well, I think one of the most interesting things that I've been pursuing recently is the electric universe and the whole, all the evidence for that. It's a well-known fact that 99.9% of the universe is plasma, and plasma is the fourth state of matter, the state it's in before it becomes a solid, liquid, or gas.
Yep.
Stuff that we are so familiar with around us. And, of course, in that fourth state, it is highly influenced by electromagnetism. Mm-hmm. In fact, it's basically ions, so it is electromagnetism. Depending on who you read on this, there's just tremendous amount of evidence for it. They show how the Grand Canyon was formed by the electricity. The huge crater on Mars was formed as well, and they've recreated it in labs on a scale to show that it's exactly the same patterning. So, the empirical evidence is very, very strong. And then, of course, if you boil it down into our bodies, it's pretty well known now that the voltage in your cell is critical for your health. And that's why when you measure pH, you're measuring potential hydrogen or the actual electricity in your cells. And it's well known that if you have positive electricity in your cells, you're probably going to be in reduced health. You don't really get to healthy cells until you have 50 millivolts of negative charge in your cells, and that's when your cells are fully healthy and will fully reproduce without any defects, without any mutations. 25 millivolts is kind of like the baseline. 50 is where you really start to hum. And again, so all the foods that were typically sold and everything we're told about them are all completely upside down about how you get healthy. And I've been following this pH miracle diet for probably 3 months now, and I've just naturally lost weight. I haven't tried to lose weight. And the it's amazing what happens. It just, your body just transforms. It's what it needs. Anyway, I probably, we're not exactly on the General Assembly topics, but
It's all related.
It's all related, right? Are you familiar with Gerald Pollack's, the fourth phase of water?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty, so I think we are plasma beings.
There's no question about it that
Exactly.
a tremendous amount of evidence for everything being plasma.
Exactly.
Trees communicating with each other, plants calling for bugs to eat them when they, are not healthy. It's just, it's mind-blowing, the level which it happens.
We're entering a whole new frontier now of understanding, which is pretty amazing.
Exactly.
They say that I was listening to a wonderful interview with Penny Kelly and this other woman, and the subject of 3i Atlas came up, and she was like saying, she said a few things, but basically she said it's plasma.
Yeah.
It's not a comet, and it's not like extraterrestrial with Draco reptilians inside of it, like the spaceship. She says it's plasma.
Elena Denon says she was taken to it. She was taken to 3i Atlas.
Really?
And it's plasma beings.
Plasma, and it in her mind, or her whatever, says that yes, and it is here. It is here actually for, to bring something for us. Like there was the positive thing that I followed was that it was giving us like a frequency upgrade, and I think it was showering, right. And she said, yes, in that manner, it is. And also, it's in a sense, it's like waking us up to plasma. Here's this plasma thing flying through the, Anyway,
right.
That was kind of an interesting take on it. So, I think it's interesting that, I knew it wasn't like something to be afraid of. I actually looked at it as something amazing that was going to help.
Well, the people who are freaking out about it are the standard model people who can't understand how a gravity-oriented object would do the things it's doing. But the electric universe people look at this and go, that's exactly what it should do. We predicted that. So it depends on who you listen to.
But also, what's his name? Avi Loeb, who's like, this expert in this stuff. He was even thinking it was. Oh,
you mean the Israeli intelligence guy? Yeah. Yeah, that's who he is.
I know who he is. I think he was thinking it was like, had like Dracos or whatever in it, and so like, yeah, sure, let's spread the fear. And I'm like, I am totally not buying that. Something not to be feared. I was outside the day that it was coming close to us. They told me you should be outside to get the emanations. I was out there for a good chunk of time. And I'm going to be out there on the 19th when it swings back around. Yeah. Anyway, I see it as an amazing thing that is here for us. I could be wrong, but I don't see it as something to be afraid of at all.
I agree with you.
If it was going to attack us, it would have done it already.
Right.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think it's here to help humanity raise the frequency, get those who are still sleeping start waking up. That's what I would like to think anyway.
Kevin on Wolcott, did you have your hand up?
Might do from before. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
When Tom was talking about the Grand Canyon, just funny story. I used to live in Arizona, so we got up to the Grand Canyon a few times, and I was drinking the Kool-Aid that the Colorado River, that's what they tell you, the rangers, that the Colorado River is what made this thing drop down 1,000+ feet. But Tom, well, that's just more lies that we've been lied to. It's some type of very powerful electric current, because if you look at it from the air, it branches out just like a bolt of electricity when they capture that. It's amazing, and it's like definitely not the Colorado River did this. And again, it's just more lies. It's a beautiful place to be, and you're sitting there, and it's awesome. But the whole story that the Rangers were taught that they tell the people, it's just utter nonsense. And that's why I just wanted to share that with you.
Right. For water to carve that, Kevin, there's a place, there's a plateau before you lead into the Grand Canyon, and that plateau slants the wrong way. And so in order for any of their conventional timelines to be met, someone would have had to carve an uphill groove, get the water to run the right way. So there's so much about it. Again, Electric Universe, you type it into YouTube, you'll get a lot of great videos, and they present all the evidence, laboratory tests that show the same kinds of phenomena, and it just, the whole mainstream narrative has to go to all these extremes, well, it must be dark matter, or, okay, you can't explain what that is, so you're just going to use this as an excuse for what you can't explain. Anyway.
I think some of the people who work in those places, they don't question, and it's not like they think, like, they don't know they're lying. They're not lying on purpose. They actually believe what they're telling you. I mean, when I first learned that, I believed it because, well, why wouldn't I? I was like, wow, that's fascinating. Look how many years it would have took for the water running to carve that out. So you would believe it. So I think a lot of those people
maybe, but the carving patterns are wrong.
Right, but you see, like a lot of stuff when we're told, we just accept that, oh, okay, until you start to question. But when you're young and you go visit a thing or a place or whatever, and they tell you whatever, like, okay, you go to Pompeii, but that is true. It was a volcano that erupted and covered it up in lava. But let's say there was some point when you were taking the tour that maybe wasn't true, but because you're not suspecting that you should question, you know what I'm trying to say?
The art of critical thinking. The critical thinking has been suppressed.
Well, that too, yeah. But also you're innocently not thinking that you should be questioning. I don't know.
You're right. The Rangers 100% believe what they're telling everybody. It's the same thing with a dentist who leaves high school to go to dental school as a 17, 18-year-old. On day one, they're going to tell them how great fluoride is for everything. And they believe that their whole career, telling everybody to take fluoride to mess up their pineal gland and lower their IQ. Yeah. And it's the same thing everywhere. You're right.
But I think they believe it, actually. So that's what I'm trying to say. They actually do.
No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
So they think that you're doing harm by not wanting to use it,
And the whole thing stems from the Prussian model of education. The Prussian model of education was brought in to this country in the late 1800s, early 1900s. And it was deliberately brought in by the globalists, the industrialists, who basically wanted a docile, show-up-on-time workforce who wouldn't question anything. And it's probably one of the biggest problems. Standardized testing is another form of that. Standardized testing has no intrinsic value. It doesn't tell you anything about whether a person's going to succeed or not succeed. It's stress-inducing, time-wasting, belittling for those who can't handle it. It's a criminal thing. I mean, but you think about, just take a moment and think about a public school. Why on God's green earth would you take your beloved child and give them to a stranger that you don't know to train?
I know.
Why would you do that? Are you out of your mind? But we take that as normal.
Yeah, we were conditioned. The whole thing was such a setup. It's maniacal. It's maniacal and so evil.
And now we see it so clearly. So,
Yeah.
you know, sure, you should be homeschooling. Basically, you should be unschooling and allow the child to explore.
Right. John Taylor Gatto called it open source learning.
Huh?
Open source learning.
Yeah.
That's what he calls it. In other words,
I like that.
the opportunities will present themselves for you to learn in real life. And when you do that, you gain so much more. And he goes through countless examples of highly successful people like the Richard Bransons and on and on and on, who basically have no schooling, but they have a wonderful education through the life experiences.
Right. Yeah, I wish I would have known that, you know, way back when I had my children. But again, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it was as bad as it is today, for sure. I mean, my kids are, 34 and 31, almost 32. I mean, I hear and I see from people what's happening in the schools now, and it was not like that when my kids were in. So, I mean, but I'm sure definitely there was some indoctrination, but not like what's going on now. But anyway.
I guess it has to get bad for people to reach the bottom enough to be compelled to change things.
They you know, they like pushed it harder, worse, you know, now all this gender stuff and, you know, whatever. That was not a thing when my kids were in school at all.
I was asking this guy last week. He's part of a group that I'm in, and he's very.
Is that Rebecca?
Yeah.
Rebecca,
Yeah.
you're real low. We can't hear you.
Maybe I was too far away. So I was asking this guy last week. He's in a group that I'm in, and we got onto this topic of the schools. And I said, what do you think about, you know, a transvestite doing a story hour for your kindergartner? And he goes, well, I think it's important to show them that these people have feelings and rights too. And I'm like, okay, whatever. You know, you're missing the point completely. He said it was a cool thing. I don't get it. But anyway.
Right. Well, we're all products of this system, and products of the system, you know, just like a mouse in a maze, have a very hard time of seeing the overall perspective and understanding it. And even those of us who've read, you know, people like John Taylor Gatto or other books that illuminate this very clearly, it still takes you a while to really absorb it and go, really? Is that what really happened to me? You know, it must have been different for me. I'm special or whatever, you know. Right? But no, it happened to you. It's just like it happened to everyone else.
Mm-hmm. Here you go.
Anyway.
And I love that saying, it's easier to fool somebody than it is to convince them that they've been fooled. Boy, does that ring true in this world.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I love it. Yeah. So they say it's not a learning, it's an unlearning. Right?
Yep, starting all over. Let's start all over. Beautiful.
Cartoons was this image of this guy sitting in the library, and he's at a great big table. He's the only one sitting at the table. And
Rebecca, we can hardly hear you. You'll have to stand closer to your mic.
I am really close. I don't know what's going on.
Maybe you didn't put your speaker on. Maybe you're not on speaker mode anymore.
Oh, maybe. Oh, well, never mind. I'll play around with this. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, we had you. You were perfect before. Well, all of a sudden, I don't know what's going on.
Oh.
Well, one thing I think we should cover before we wrap up tonight's meeting is the in-people meeting we had, and how I think everyone thought it was a great success, and whether we should continue. I think we had kind of agreed informally at the meeting that we would try and do it in January.
Yeah, try to find a date in January that we think could be good.
Does everyone like the Sunday format?
I think it's a good day because most people, would be available, right?
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah.
So then it's just a question of us picking a Sunday and putting it on our schedule.
Yeah. So, I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I have my phone. Let's see. So the New Year is on a Thursday. So then there's like maybe the 11th of January. The Sunday right after New Year's would be the 4th. I mean, some people might be away, or I don't know, too close to the holiday. You think the 11th could be good?
Sounds good to me. What does everyone else think?
Okay. Can you hear me, guys?
Now,
much better, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, so we basically have the 4th, the 11th, the 18th, or the 25th.
Right, those are the Sundays, right?
Anyone have any preferences, or should we just arbitrarily say the 11th?
Do it, the 11th.
You like the 11th? Kevin?
Sure. The sooner the better.
Okay.
I do have a weekend in January that I'm not available, and I haven't set up my January calendar yet. Don't know what weekend that is.
All right, well, do you want to check and then...
I can find out if you have a minute to wait. I just have to pull out a notebook.
Sure.
Okay, yeah.
Are we going to go back to the same spot?
Yeah.
Unless you have another suggestion, I think that was a good spot.
Yeah, I liked it. I agree.
Yeah, I think it was pretty easy to, pretty central for most people to get to, and it had a nice, views of the water. It was pretty.
Yeah, and the food was good too.
Yeah.
I had crab. They were great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm checking my thing here for the calendar. Hold on.
Excuse me.
Well, in the normal course of events, the first week of the month is the Journal Assembly. The second week of the month is the open forum. The third week is another Journal Assembly, and the fourth week is General Assembly. So the 11th would kind of be the sort of natural date to fall on if we're substituting it for the open forum.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Hold on, I'm almost, here we go. Wait a minute. Nope, that's not it.
In any case, I can still hold the open forum. It's not that hard to do online.
Right.
But I think in people is on a different level.
Yeah, it is.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time finding what I'm looking for. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay, not January 11th.
No?
You want to do the 18th?
Yeah, probably. Let's do that.
Do we do a vote, or is a verbal agreement good enough for everyone?
Verbal good. 18th works.
Yeah.
All right. The 18th it'll be. And
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Rebecca, do you want to go ahead and reserve it as before, or should we? Were you comfortable doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Excellent. So I'll just make sure that it gets on the calendar that Elle's supposed to be working on for January.
Oh, yeah, and then we should, put a thing out.
Yeah, well, Kimberly had to sign off, but we'll make sure that it gets in the newsletter as well.
Right. And then when it gets, I wouldn't wait too long to just do one of those Evite things that she did. That it needed
Exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks out or a week out or something like that.
I would even do it like a month out, and then I would repeat it several times. That's what usually people do. It's not really annoying. Some people think, oh, no, we don't want to bother people. No, not really, because
you're just clicking a button.
They see it, then they forget, and they appreciate a reminder. Yeah.
Right. And you're just clicking the button anyway. I mean, how hard can that be?
What?
You're just clicking a button. So how hard can that be?
You come or and if you're not sure, you don't have to respond right away, and then yeah. But I know how that goes. You put a little star, or you try to flag that email, but there's so many things come through your inbox you could forget. So I think it is good to send it out again several times, and of course more frequent the closer to the event. Anyway, we'll see.
So I think we can go ahead and stop the recording now.